The really hard choices during this quarantine are when it's okay to risk it to go out. Like, hey, the kids need some milk and we're out of eggs. We'll figure it out. Hey, you need your fifth bookshelf is available, but you got to go pick it up. I'll be right there. You ever get like a new coffee and it's just fantastic? I can't stop this thing. Sorry about that. So what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update. And this week it was a little interesting. I was really just slammed with school again. And I know it sounds like I'm just repeating myself at this point. It's just, last 6 weeks of your last semester of school ever. They're going to kind of start to really pummel you with things. But other than that, guys, it's been all kinds of stuff going on this week. I briefly spoke last week about the subscriber count. And it's just something I like to do, just kind of keep you updated with where we're at currently on this. Things have started to slow down as I expected. I got that little bump when JordanCon was coming, and then once JordanCon got canceled, all that attention kind of slowed down. But things are still progressing pretty decently, I think, in a way. I mean, I think about when I had 200 subscribers, and I thought that was great, right? So I'm never going to scoff at getting about like 50 a day or whatever. But kind of looked at the analytics or whatever, and I've got a new goal by May 1st of 7,500. And what would be absolutely amazing about that is that was my year-end goal, was 7,500. So, channel continues to grow, and I'm thankful for all the new people and all the old people. I'm so glad that you guys want to take this journey with me where all I want to do is talk about what I love to read and talk with you about what you like to read. So I'm happy to have you guys here. Yes, I spoke in the intro. I did get my fifth shelf, and I'm going to let you take a little peek at it. What do you think? Trying to fit this all into one camera shot was a little rough. That's why it might look a little different to you. So I'm going to kind of keep playing around with things and see how it works or whatever. But give me the opportunity, to front face some more books and things like that. And, obviously just give me room to grow. So if I see a new book, because I literally had 0 spots. I had 0 new spots for books. And I'm never, ever going to stack my books. So, After this, though, I'm up a shit creek, so I do have to be a little more selective with some of those books. But now that I've kind of gotten through my hardcover thing, I'm starting to be okay with getting more trade paperbacks. And I found that trade paperbacks are really quite readable. I don't have to put them on a desk to read them. So that's really nice. And I'll talk a little bit more about those in a little bit because I did make a couple of purchases that I want to kind of talk about. But as far as what's going on right now, guys, I did finish reading Proven Guilty, the 8th Dresden Files book, and I did my review for it. If you want to check that out, I'll put it up here for you. I was a little shorter than my deadbeat review, but I do notice that these reviews are starting to get longer, just like my Wheel of Time reviews started getting longer. And I think that's because the Dresden episodes are starting to get a following. At first, it was really kind of crickets, wasn't getting a ton. And I guess I'm starting to show up in other people's sidebars or something because all of a sudden my Why I Decided to Read episode just kind of took off. And a lot of, like every day when I get up, I'll check my email and it'll have, you have a new comment on this video, and you'll look at it in sequential order. It's every one of the Dresden Files reviews from the same person. So that's awesome. I'm glad to have more Dresden fans find the channel and talking stuff. But I really had a great time with Proven Guilty, and I know that's a broken record because if I had a quote on the front of one of these books, like right here, it would say, I had a really great time. Mike's Book Reviews. That's what it would say on the front because unanimously, that's what it's going to say with every Dresden Files book. I had a great time. And this one, I felt like what I talked about in that review is that it had some differences from some of the other books, and I like that. I like that Butcher is changing it up enough to where it doesn't feel just kind of formulaic and predictable. So I had a great time with that, and I'm having a great time so far with White Knight. About a quarter of the way through this here, and man, it's a blast. It's a blast. Something I believe a commenter said this, and so I don't want to sound like this is my cleverness because it really isn't, but I see it right away. Big Star Wars fan, as you know, pre-Disney, and the Clone Wars was something that I really enjoyed when I watched the Clone Wars, I said, I feel like this is the best Star Wars since the original trilogy. It actually fixed a lot of things I didn't like about the prequels. It was that good. I know a lot of people just kind of scoff at stuff that's animated or whatever, but it was really, really quality TV. And the relationship in that show between Anakin and his apprentice Ahsoka was something that was just such a joy to watch. They would bust each other's chops, but when things got serious, they were doing that, but they were also there for each other. And I kind of see that already with Harry and Molly, and I love that dynamic. So if they're going to go the Anakin Ahsoka route with Harry and Molly, sign me up. I love it. I love it. And that's kind of where I am at with Dresden Files right now. But let's talk about that wheel that keeps on turning, because you know what? It's only going to turn once more. You know why? Because I finished The Towers of Midnight, and I have mixed opinions on it. What a surprise, right? This has kind of gotten to a point where I've said what I love the most about this journey on Wheel of Time is that the fans have been so good. They've been so great, and a lot of them have turned heel on me, and to the point to where I stopped reading, or not really stopped reading. I stopped responding to comments in the Gathering Storm review, because, as I call them, the Gwynne truthers have just kind of went in there and kind of bullied everybody, and it's just the channel's never really been about that. I've always tried to keep things positive here, and I still am always going to speak positively to anybody, even if they're being really shitty with me. Like, I had a lot of shitty comments in there. It happens, and I feel like I said, I'm very thick-skinned on those kind of things. It doesn't really bother me as much as it's just like, gosh, Wheel of Time was the one fandom that didn't have that kind of stuff going on, and just because of my opinions on one not tiny, but one story arc that I didn't care for, and everyone just kind of went bananas on me. So it's got me almost to a point where I'm kind of scared to do my Towers of Midnight review, because I have a lot of the same kind of criticisms, and I just wish people could understand it. Mike, when you put the review goggles on for a channel like this, you're going to nitpick things. And when you're a first-time reader, you don't know how it ends, so you can't look at it the same way as someone who's read it through 2 or 3 times looks at it. So I imagine that review will be coming sometime next week, because I want to do my wish list and start A Memory of Light probably around Monday or whatnot. So I want to make sure that I get that review out before those things. So it'll be sometime early next week that it comes out, but I don't think it's really sunk in for me yet that there's one book left. Like, I tweeted today that I'm 93.3% done with the Wheel of Time, and this is something that I've been doing for 13 months of my life. So being this close to the end is just kind of surreal. As you just first look at it, you're like this 14 or 15 tomes or 14 tomes in a novel, a regular sized novel, let's put it that way, in New Spring, and you think I'm never going to get there, and finally being on that downward trajectory on the hill, going downhill now, it's just kind of like I want to kind of slow down and stop. It's kind of got me a little nervous to start that last book, but obviously I'm going to. I'm not going to go this far and then stop now. But yeah, I mean, I've been critical of a couple of things in the last few books, and I've got things I'm critical about in this book, but that never means that I'm not enjoying the hell out of this ride. I wouldn't have a framed picture of the Wheel of Time up there and all these books on hardcover and do all these videos for this channel if it wasn't something that I think is absolutely wonderful. Yeah, any story this long is going to have some criticism, and I'm going to continue to give that. Like I just said in my most recent Dresden review, is that I'm always going to be honest with you guys. I'm never going to bullshit, even if the pushback is brutal, whatever. But yeah, some people just kind of got really ugly with it. And I don't think it has to get there. These are just opinions, and attacking some of the other commenters is what really kind of bothered me about it. Because like I said, that's the stuff that I've seen with like new Star Wars fans doing to old Star Wars fans. I've never seen that with Wheel of Time fans before. It just kind of broke my heart a little bit, because like I said, it's been the most wonderful fandom that I've ever interacted with, and to see it kind of go south here at the end is kind of upsetting. Even though I want to reiterate that 90% is still super positive. It's just it used to be 99%, So there it is. So that's where I'm at with the Will review sometime next week, and yeah, I'll be starting on A Memory of Light probably Monday or Tuesday, depending on school. When I had my JordanCon schedule where I tried to rush this, I was supposed to be done by next Thursday, because that's when my plane left for JordanCon. No, obviously I'm not going to do that now. I definitely do not want to rush A Memory of Light. I don't feel like I've rushed any of the Sanderson books. 10 days to 2 weeks. Some people have said that's binging a book. I don't think that's binging a Wheel of Time book. Like I said, I don't read Wheel of Time until I've got time to sit down and read it like in about 100-page bursts. And so, I mean, that's, 7-8 nights worth of reading to me. If that's really fast to people, I get that. But anyhow, I probably won't take more than 2 weeks for Memory Light. I don't know, but I'm just going to kind of take it as it goes. And like I said, there is some apprehension there just because I'm scared of it ending. I don't want it to end at this point. I'm excited to know the ending finally, but I don't want it to end. So there it is. There it is, guys. That's where I'm at with the Wheel. I did a Why You Should Read on the Red Rising series. I'll put that up here for you if you missed it. And I really, really urge you guys to watch that, because Why You Should Read series are ones where I try to give you a hard sales job on why I love it. Not really that. I just talk about why I love it and why I think you probably appreciate it too. And with Red Rising, it's just one of those things that it's a series I love so much. And anytime I talk about it on the channel, it just really never got much attention. So I said, okay, the Why You Should Read videos usually do pretty good. So instead of just non-spoiler reviews for the books, I'm going to do a non-spoiler sales job about why I love the series so much. And the reaction's been pretty positive. A lot of people that either said that they gave up after book 1 or that they've just never really gave it a shot have set up the video, okay, I'm going to give it a shot now. And it's $1.99 right now on Kindle. So if you haven't got it yet, get it. But anyhow, I hope you'll watch the video, and I hope that you'll give the series a chance, because like I said, I feel like it's the science fiction alternative to the First Law trilogy, which I would not say if I didn't mean it, guys. You know how much I love the First Law, new artwork up there. I wouldn't compare it to First Law if I didn't mean that. And you'll read that first book and you'll be like, what the hell was Mike smoking? And I get that. Because it doesn't feel like that at first. It is a gradual advance into grimdark. And I think what I said with Dark Age is it felt like Joe Abercrombie wrote a Red Rising book. So yeah, that's my 2 favorite grimdarky authors right now. So I would really appreciate if some of you guys give it a shot, or at least give that video and let me try to tell you why you should give it a shot. But talking about the First Law, and I knew how First Law fans would love that, I did talk about my rankings for the First Law series this week. It's something I've wanted to do kind of for a while. I've always known what my rankings are. They changed just a little bit when I did my reread. But you'll have to watch that video if you want to know those rankings. And that's something that people have asked me for quite a bit. What do you think is the best First Law book? What do you think is the worst one? How would you rank them, kind of thing? I've never been wild on the whole rankings thing. I'll do like some top 10s and stuff like that. But rankings is always just, it's nothing more subjective than a list. And it's always, you're always going to have one person with a series as strong as the First Law is. You're going to have one person whose favorite book is my least favorite book, because it's just such a strong series. I mean, I was like, God, this book's amazing, and I got it number 6 out of 8, So that's just how good that series is. So it was actually not really difficult for me to place them, because I have that kind of idea in my head, but it was difficult for me to kind of talk about why on each one of them. But I feel like that's also a very good introduction, non-spoilery way for you to decide if you want to rate the series or not. So that's another added bonus there. So check that out if you get a chance. I did mention that I did pick up some trade paperbacks, and when I did my series I want to read in 2021, and it was one of them on there was The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne. Well, I spoke last week about how I've actually adjusted that, and I'm going to be starting The Faithful and the Fallen in June. But something that I'm not doing a book haul this month, because I only bought 3 books. This lockdown kind of, did that. It kept me kind of going from many bookstores or whatever. But I got the newest John Gwynne book, which is the end of his 2nd series. It's a trilogy called Of Blood and Bone, and this is The Time of Courage. And I got the other ones as well, Time of Blood and A Time of Dread. And these are just so massive. I was saying that I'm starting to get used to these trade paperbacks, because they aren't like the mass market paperbacks. These monsters. I mean, they're basically hardcover size. And like I said, I feel like they're way more readable. I can read this in bed. I can read this on my desk. I can read this sitting in a recliner. And I know a lot of people are like laughing. Yeah, that's what we always tell you. Look, I still love my hardcovers, but yeah, some of the hardcovers, some of the early John Gwynne stuff, expensive. I think someone actually tweeted at me that his hardcover for the first Faithful and the Fallen book, which is Malice, is like $900. Yeah, not going to be doing that, especially for things. But yes, I have bought 7 books from an author I've never read before. I have a problem. I know this. Look behind me. I have a problem or whatever. But I can't. I look very much forward to starting Malice as soon as I'm done with Dresden Files. I moved it up just because I keep talking about this author that I've never read before. And now I've just got to know, well, shit, what if you don't like them? But I'm pretty certain I'm going to. I haven't heard one person that has read all 4 Faithful of the Fallen, because there have been some people that have kind of been like lukewarm on the first book and they didn't keep going. But I haven't heard one person that's finished that Faithful of the Fallen series and has not told me this will be everything that you want in a fantasy series. So I'm excited to start it. And there's my book haul for March. Is those 3 books. That's all I got or whatever. So check those out if you can. I believe that Time of Courage, which is the last book, I think it actually is book 1. The Time of Dread, that is like 99 cents right now on Kindle. I'm not sure on that. I saw it right before I went here. But anyhow, I would suggest starting with Faithful and the Fallen, since it all takes place in the same universe. Damn fine coffee is getting to me here. Anyhow, that's where we are for that with books. A couple of things we've watched. Now I want you guys to tell me if I'm the worst parent ever. We are trying not to helicopter our almost 8-year-old son. He's very, very smart, and I know everybody thinks this about their own kids, but he doesn't have like nightmares or anything like that. So I've let him watch stuff that a lot of people might say, oh, I don't know, that might be too intense for him at that age. But he's gotten real interested in the history of the Titanic, something that one of the last things that they were talking about in school before school locked down, and we've been homeschooling him since. And he was looking through my Blu-rays and he saw Titanic. He was like, whoa, can we watch this? And I'm like, because if you do know, there is a nude painting scene in the middle of it. And I asked my wife about it. I was like, what do you think? Should we let him watch this? Should we skip forward with that? And I thought for sure she's like, no, that ain't happening. But she said, you know what? If we don't react to it, I don't think he'll react to it. So let's just do it and see how it goes. He didn't even act like anything unusual was going on. So if this makes me the worst parent ever, letting him watch that movie, so be it, or whatever. But like I said, we're trying to let him, kind of work things out on his own. And I'm glad he... I think when I was younger, my parents would do things where they would like cover my eyes, or they would giggle or smirk at me, or fast forward or something like that. So we just decided, let's just like not even react to it, and maybe he won't think there's any big deal about it. So I think we did okay with it. But it was kind of interesting there at the whole sinking part. He was sitting in the recliner next to me, and I just felt his little heartbeat. Just was so nervous or whatever. So I do want to say though, I do think the movie's aged wonderfully. I feel like a lot of people kind of give revisionist history on Titanic. After Avatar and how much success James Cameron had, they like to go back and look at James Cameron movies and just kind of shit all over him now. But I think it's aged wonderfully. It's still a great, great movie. And 1997, Kate Winslet, oh my God, call me. Yeah, so it's a great movie. It really, really is. It deserves all the accolades it got, in my opinion. And maybe just remember why I love James Cameron as a director and as a visionary. I think about The Abyss. I think about Aliens, things like that. The guy's wonderful. He deserves all the accolades that he gets. Even if I'm not that interested in Avatar sequels, I'm sure they'll come out and blow my mind somehow, because that's just what James Cameron does. Anyhow, I did start watching the Outlander series with my wife, and I did a quick little video here about how I had the books and how I was curious about watching the show. And what I meant by that was just I was curious if it was something that a guy could be interested in. And I hate asking that question because it opens up that inevitable gender war thing that's going on right now, and that's not what I meant with it. If you actually watch the video, you could tell by the comments by who actually listened to what I said in the video and who didn't. But it was mostly positive reception. Guys, there's some things that are for dudes, like this macho guy action movies, and there's some things that are for women, just for women, like the Lifetime movies. It's okay. And that's all I was asking in that video, was saying, is this kind of something that's just aimed towards women? And we've watched the first 8 episodes, and I'm like, yeah, it's got some of that in it, but there's so much more to it. So we're having a great time. My wife decided to watch with me. Like I said, we're 8 episodes in. There's been some moments that have actually been like, wow, I can't believe they do this. But it's Ronald D. Moore, man. Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Next Generation. What's not to like here? So I just knew that that Ronald D. Moore wasn't going to be attached to something that was just like super chick flicky. So I just think that the marketing has just kind of let it down. It really has. I feel like they kind of killed half of their demographic by kind of marketing it as just a super high Nora Roberts romance set in ancient Scotland kind of thing. I just feel like that's a big mistake on their part. Now, it might devolve to that eventually. I don't know. We'll find out. But first 3 seasons are Netflix. We started watching one. We were going to keep going, but wife put her foot back on my throat and said, no, we're going to watch Dark. Let's watch Dark. So I said we were going to start Dark last week, and we didn't because I started watching this. Anyhow. But as far as gaming, nothing for me. But you know what, guys? My wife finally upgraded to a gaming PC. So I was setting that up for her today. I got her in there playing Ori right now, and she's just excited that she finally, because her computer was a junker that she had. She always was the type that was like, I'm not going to pay that much for something when all I do is use it for email and school stuff. Well, she's watched me doing my PC gaming, and I think she's been kind of jealous. And so she went ahead, she finally bit the bullet, got her own gaming PC, and I'm going to set her up some games on there and stuff like that. And it's awesome because we can like share stuff now, share games and things like that. So yeah, we're a full-on geeky PC Master Race family now, and I'm very, very excited about that. So guys, what have you been up to this week? What have you been doing to keep yourself busy during quarantine? What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you playing? What are you reading? These are the big things here. Drop in the comments and let me know what's going on, and you guys have a safe and very fun weekend.